Hi there, how are you? I hope you are doing great. This is MJ, and today I am inviting you to another spiritual journey tarot session. So, in short, these are the sessions where I discuss and explore different aspects of spirituality and spiritual growth. Now, let me make it clear from the very beginning, I don't consider myself any kind of specialist in this area. I'm just a person who is going through my own spiritual journey, okay, and my own soul growth, and I'm just speaking up about it, hoping that maybe if you decide to join me, we can mutually benefit from our experiences and thus make the journey a little bit easier, okay? Now, the question that was popping out in my head for a couple days already is, why does this feel so lonely? Okay, why does the spiritual journey, why does the soul growth is such a freaking lonely process? Even though there are so many communities we can join and so many great spiritual workers we can follow and observe on many platforms, YouTube, Instagram, many others. There are so many great books that we can read, and they are helpful. They give insight and they help us understand certain aspects. And oftentimes when I observe others or I read those books, very often I go through that aha moment. Okay, so I never thought of this, I never thought of that. But still, at the end of the day, each and every one of us needs to figure this out on our own. We need to find our own soul calling, our own soul truth. And it really does feel a hell lot of lonely, right? And when I sat down with the cards today, with the cards and my morning cup of coffee, I didn't really intend to record it. I was just looking to have a little morning meditation for myself because I didn't really get up in the best mood today. Maybe because it's rainy, maybe because it's quite a dark and cloudy day. Regardless of the reason, I was looking for, well, a little hope and inspiration in the cards, but the cards that fell off the deck actually immediately inspired me to do this recording. And again, as always, you just have to trust me. I don't pull out the cards, I let them fall out the deck. And I was given three major arcanas today: the High Priestess, the Sun, and the Death card. Now, the funny thing is, when I saw the Sun card, I thought the Temperance card. And that's where I was going in my thought process. And only after a couple minutes, I realized, hey, it's not the Temperance, it's the Sun card. But there is an aspect of temperance that I found in this card, and I will explain my thought process to you in a second. But let's start from the very first card, okay? We are talking about a spiritual journey. We are talking about finding our soul calling, our soul's secret wisdom. And the High Priestess shows up as the first card. I just cannot make this up, right? When you look at this particular card, and I'm sorry I am recording with my phone today, so it's not focusing well, but when you look at this card, doesn't it feel lonely? She is alone, she's standing in the cold, it's some kind of a winter landscape. Nighttime. It gives me the feeling, even though it's not the primary meaning of this card, but we're not reading tarot cards today, we're discussing spirituality. It makes me feel with discomfort because it's cold and lonely. It makes me think of fear because of being alone. Okay? She's standing in some kind of a mountain or a stone shell, okay, that needs to crack open to free the High Priestess up. So what I thought about when I was looking at this card is like shedding layers of certain restrictions, very hard restrictions, perhaps created by our human mind, created by fear, by the human side of us, right? And we need to shed those layers of those hard restrictions to let our high priestess out. High priestess, the secret wisdom, the deep intuitive knowing, right? In order to get to that deep inner knowing, we need to dig through that very hard stone layer, okay, of restrictions. But there is no physical action when you look at it. So it all happens inside of her soul, right? Even when those restrictions are falling, she's not pulling them off with her bare hands. It's happening because of the work that she's doing within her, right? So the nighttime also symbolizes that inner work, inner world, inner journey that we go through silently and alone, okay? Now, we don't have to go through this silently if we decide to speak up about it, as I am trying to do, but still, a lot of those things that are happening and the thoughts that we process and feelings that we process and realizations and fears that we face them silently and alone. And it can feel very uncomfortable and it can cause fear, right? Now let's look at the Sun card that I said I thought about the Temperance card when I saw it. There are bees here around the hive, okay, doing their work that the bees do, right? Diligent and persistent, hardworking. Each of the bees knowing their role and not questioning it, right? The temperance aspect of it is that it is a very patient process on our soul plane, on the divine level. And funny, this particular card is also shown in the night time, even though it's the Sun card. So again, it makes me think of an inner work. Those little bees are very persistent in doing their inner work, even though they may not really understand why. They just have their role in the process and they don't question it. That's how bees operate, right? Bees, again, that's a community. So what I said at the beginning, it makes me feel of some kind of maybe a common purpose. It's like each and every one of us is working separately and alone. But at the same time, we are part of some kind of a bigger community working on a common purpose. Well, what that purpose is well, probably a topic for a separate meeting, right? But there are many of us in the process. And again, the divine aspect of this diligent work with the temperance that came to my mind, right? Okay. Now let's move to the Death card. Okay. Again, set up in the winter time. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but there are snowflakes falling. Okay. The winter time again may cause that discomfort and feeling lonely and being left out in the cold. But there are those dwarfs surrounding her, right? Because this is Snow White in this particular card. She ate the apple, okay? Those dwarfs make me think of whatever spiritual beings you believe in, angels, spirit guides, okay? You name it. So that reminds us that on the earthly plane, on that human level, it may really feel lonely. But on that divine plane, we are never alone. Those of us who really embark on a spiritual journey are never alone. But because on the human plane, we may be by ourselves, we may tend to forget that we are not left alone, right? Now, if you look at the bees again, the bees don't live long, right? Like they live around a month, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, our bee work, so our spiritual bee work, will not be measured with that kind of timing. Like, it's not about a month, okay? It usually takes a lot longer. But what I'm getting from this is, after the stage of diligent work, that we don't question, we just do what we are meant to do. Okay, we do our part. There comes the time to shift. Metaphorical death, okay? Shedding old skin so that we can transform to the next stage. So yes, the bee does not live long on that physical plane, and I'm absolutely not saying that after we do this part we are physically dying, right? Remember, the death card is not about physical death. It's primarily about a metamorphosis, right? So after this time of diligent work and persistent work, and where we don't give up and we don't question our role in the process, we just diligently go through it, there comes the time where we can finally transform. We can move to the next stage of spiritual knowledge, spiritual understanding, spiritual development, okay? You name it. Again, it will be different for everyone, similar but different, because as I said, each of us needs to figure this out on our own. And then, what card is in the tarot deck after the death card? The Temperance, that I thought about when I saw the Sun card. The Temperance comes next. And that is deep healing. That is experiences integrating into our existence on a deep soul level. This is a deep soul rest that is well deserved after this hard work, after this lonely shedding skin, as I said, cracking open through those restrictions, right? Digging through that stone wall to let our true soul purpose, our soul truth, to get to the surface from being hidden deep within us, okay? And where this is going after this stage of death, okay? And this is also, again, this aspect of feeling lonely, that we may feel so tired, that we don't understand. We've done all this work and we still don't understand. It's so tiring. We are digging through so many layers to get to the other side of the veil, to understand. It may be so tiring that at some point we truly deserve the deep soul healing. And if you are familiar with the Temperance card, you know that it has an archangel in it. So again, those spirit beings that I said that we're never alone are assisting us to heal our soul from those experiences and help us shift to the next level. Now, what is happening after this is a topic for another meeting, okay? So I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that this resonated with you. If you did, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment, because I would love to know what you think about what I had to say today. And other than that, I am wishing you a great week ahead. And as always, please take care of yourself and of your soul. Bye.